So, all right, this is the politics of boxing, yeah? So Richard RIAKPORHE already has a victory over Chris Billiam-Smith. But as you can see here, Richard is ranked above him in the WBC. But however, the WBA have Chris Billiam-Smith ranked number 5. RIAKPORHE has no ranking at all. Here we see Chris Billiam-Smith ranked at number 3. RIAKPORHE ranked at number 12. Here we have Billiam-Smith ranked number 3 again. Very high rankings. And no trace of Richard RIAKPORHE. So currently, Chris Billiam-Smith has a record of 14-1. The one loss to Richard RIAKPORHE. Richard RIAKPORHE, after knocking out Dion Juma on Saturday, is now 14-0. Now, either Eddie's connections have worked very well for Chris Billiam-Smith, or on the other hand, we could say that European belt and that Commonwealth title that Chris Billiam-Smith has put him in better standing with the sanctioning bodies. Winning a European title has always resulted in a world ranking of some sort, but it is what it is. Maybe Ben Shalom needs to lobby a little harder with the sanctioning bodies to get Richard some better rankings than he has there. Now, the question I'm asking is Richard RIAKPORHE world class? Now, he's world ranked, but is he world class? Is there a difference? Does it matter? The power is definitely real. Definitely. I think mentally he's becoming more focused. He looks like he's very difficult to manhandle because of his sheer physical presence and height. Is he ready for the likes of an Akoli Makabu, a Bradis, a Gulmadian? I don't know. I don't think Team RIAKPORHE could turn down a title opportunity if it came up, not at 32 years of age. I think they'd have to go for it. If they could lure the likes of Makabu, Golamarian, or Maris Bradis away from home, they'd have a shot at it. They'd have a shot at it. A Lawrence Akoli fight, that's a good fight. Richard definitely is improving, has a puncher's chance. He might be the cruiserweight who's got the size and mass to combat the mauling and holding tactics from Akoli. And that would be interesting. Might not be very pleasant to watch at times, but interesting. The Dion Juma fight has showed Richard's strengths and some stuff he's got to work on. Like when he goes into that high guard and crouches in for a tall guy, he leaves himself a little open for hooks to come round the side of the high guard. He can't really see the punches coming. Needs to snap the jab a little more. Seems to doze off at times. But, you know, Juma, he can box a little. And while he was still in the fight, he was always going to give Richard a few issues with his speed and in and out tactics. Juma looked like a pumped up cruiserweight compared to Richard really in there, didn't he? Once again, inactivity has hurt Juma's career. Took his first L as a pro. He's only had one more fight than Richard and he's been a pro for at least 3 years longer. Like I said, Richard seems more focused. The counter right hand that sent Juma down, very good punch. The body shot, well picked, and he finished the job. What can you say? He's moving in the right direction. How far can he go? That's up to Richard. It's up to Richard to take the bull by the horns, and he's in the right place in Loughborough with Angel Hernandez. He's in the right place. It'll be interesting to see what's next for him. He's the first guy that Ben Shalom signed on Sky, and he headlined his card, Wembley Arena. DAZN, or DAZN. The schedule for April, we got Triple G versus Murata on April the 9th, and we also have Ryan Garcia versus Tago. I thought Murata had alliances to Top Rank, and it might have been on there, or ESPN, but no, DAZN have it. That's a good weekend of boxing. Some of you are saying, I thought you hated Triple G. I don't hate Triple G, but yo, it's a unification. Part of my $8.99 subscription a month with Ryan Garcia, 2 cards in one night. I'm not a big fan of Ryan Garcia, but you put Triple G and Ryan Garcia as one night's entertainment. That's excellent. Tomorrow we go to Spain. We've got Sandor Martin versus Jose Felix. April the 22nd, they go to Italy. It's Zuko versus Nikolic. I haven't got a clue who they are, but it's there. I don't see the date for Ben versus Van Heerden. I'll go check on BoxRec. That's on the 16th. Who's on the undercard? They've got Chris Billiam-Smith versus Tommy McCarthy for the European and Commonwealth title at Cruiser. Zelfa Barrett, he challenges Kubanov for the European super featherweight title. I'm interested in that one. Jordan Thompson, big hitting cruiser, he's on the bill. I think they need to step up the level of his opposition a little. Campbell Hatton, Jack Cullen, and the likes doing their thing. It's not a bad card. Not a bad card. Not a great card, not a bad card. And then on the 30th, we got Taylor versus Serrano, MSG. One of the biggest women's boxing fights ever. Not bad for my $8.99 a month. Not complaining. Boxers can be spiteful at times, and I'm not sure if Shawn Porter ranking Terence Crawford, Keith Thurman, your Danish UGAS above Errol Spence is likely more about Shawn not getting a decision he thought he deserved when he fought Spence. I've been a critic of Errol Spence, but to rank Keith Thurman and your Danish UGAS above Spence, maybe he's talking about his experience of fighting all four of them, that he feels Thurman and UGAS are ahead of Spence. He's not talking about accomplishments. So that's fair enough, I guess, but I wouldn't have Keith Thurman or UGAS ahead of Errol Spence, but I'm coming from it from a different perspective. I haven't fought none of them. I'm just looking at their accomplishments, and Thurman and UGAS don't have the accomplishments that Errol Spence has. Terence Crawford, on the other hand, I'd go with Terence Crawford number one. There's accomplishments and the eye test, so to speak. In Porter's case, it would be, I've actually fought them in the ring. I know what each man can do individually. So there's that. And there's no way Thurman or UGAS have accomplished more in the welterweight division as a pro than Spence has. In my opinion, we can write that one off. And then all it can come down to then is Porter doesn't rate Spence because he believes that UGAS will beat Spence and he believes Crawford will beat Spence. So he doesn't have a very high opinion of Errol at the top level. Is that an informed opinion since he's fought Spence, Thurman, UGAS and Crawford? Or is there a little resentment that he didn't get the decision? Now, I didn't think Errol Spence was that much taller than UGAS, but there's a decided height advantage there. UGAS does have very long arms nonetheless. Ismail Salas surprisingly stated on Wednesday that he doesn't think the same Errol Spence Jr. that beat Shawn Porter 2.5 years ago still exists. He told Ray Flores, a reporter for the PBC, at his gym in Las Vegas that Spence's car accident in October 2019 noticeably changed the undefeated southpaw for the worse. Now, Spence convincingly beat Danny Garcia way back in December 2020. That's a year and a half ago. It's a long time. One fight since 2019. UGAS has had 3 fights since. I mean, that's not as active as he would have liked to have been, but it's a lot more than Errol. Basically, Salas believes the car crash has left Errol Spence a diminished force, torn retina, which he's had surgery on, which forced him to withdraw from the Manny Pacquiao fight, which would have been last year. UGAS replaced him and got the victory, deserved victory. And I believe Manny Pacquiao, not cherry-picked, that's not the right word, but he was very confident of beating Errol Spence. See, the inactivity is key. These fighters are looking for that. A guy like Pacquiao, he's a vet, he's a hunter. Oh, he's inactive. And by the time he fought Mikey Garcia, it looked like he stopped learning, that he had plateaued. So Pacquiao said, yo, let's go. I think a lot of people, even if they're not coming out saying it, believe that there's going to be an upset in a couple of weeks' time. I believe Spence will win. I think it could be controversial, though. And yes, I believe there is deterioration and decline, but all that means nothing if UGAS cannot push Errol Spence back, if he's not looking to knock Errol Spence out. If Spence gets through with his jab, is on the front foot, landing good body shots, he'll get a decision if it goes the full 12, unless UGAS does an absolute masterclass. And look, Spence can box, and like I don't think nobody's gonna box Spence 9-3 or 10-2 in the weight class, not even Terence Crawford. I think Crawford could be a 7-5, maybe a stoppage. So he needs to push Errol Spence back. He needs to drive him back. Don't let Spence come forward, throwing hands. backing him up, because you're just going to give the judges the opportunity, the politics the opportunity to take the decision away from him. And some of us might be screaming robbery, 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 but it will be Spence who goes forward and should be fighting Terence Crawford for all four. It's a very good fight, arguably one of the best matchups of the year, no doubt about that. Looking forward to it. In my opinion, UGAS solved the Manny Pacquiao conundrum and should have got Manny out of there. But you could feel that he was holding something back. Why? Got to get them out of there. On the undercard, also looking forward to Butev versus Stanionis, which should just be an eliminator. It shouldn't be for the WBA regular title or whatever. If the WBA say they're trying to clean up belts, there's no need for these two to fight for a secondary belt. If you're cleaning up the belts, just let it be an eliminator. But they're not doing that. And as much as Spence is saying, oh, well, with Crawford leaving Top Rank, it should be easier to make the fight, I feel Crawford is still going to get left out of the loop, and we'll more than likely see the winner out of Butev and Stanionis take on the winner out of UGAS and Spence. And that's a damn shame for boxing, it has to be said. Damn disgrace, if you ask me. This is the second draft of this video. You don't want to hear the first one, so. According to Barbershop Conversations, Devin Haney will be getting a 20% split of the pot when he fights George Kambosos for Undisputed. Now, this sport is rotten, and it's easy to exploit boxers when fans get all of this. You better take your shot or you'll never get another one. Now all of a sudden you've got a deadline to negotiate. You don't take the fight in a certain allotted time, then you lose your title shot that you've worked years and years for. You are being exploited, you know. Just take your shot, be quiet, turn up to the press conferences and bow down to Fury, Warren and ARUM and all that stuff there. And as messed up as all that is, they do have options. You can take the fight, you believe you can win, a little sacrifice, take the fight. Or you could take a stand for the betterment of boxers from now going into the future, not to be exploited. They say unification trumps mandatory. Well, if that's the case, unifications should be treated with the utmost respect. And if a fight ever needed a purse bid, this one did. Yeah, it's just business, but you look at old dudes like Lou DiBella, old Bob Arum, giving this kid who's got a dream to be undisputed 20%, and because fighters depend on their passion and their hunger to get to where they want to get, they've managed to coerce him and his dad into taking this fight and taking a deal which is essentially a bad deal, really. You know, they've both got a piece of Devin and they're giving him 20%. The rematch automatically lands in Australia. This is 2022 and Bob is complaining that, oh, anyone thinks I'm a racist, they don't know me. Well, what do you expect? Look at the two fighters you've dealt with, Devin and Dillian. Both of them getting 20%. Dillian getting no ticket allocation, isn't sure that his purse is secure in an escrow. I wish Devin the best, but I can't in all good conscience encourage this as a practice going forward for fighters to have to concede so much. You know, I could just imagine Lou DiBella and Bob Arum talking on the phone, bragging how they played them suckers while we clean up, put them in line, keep them in check, like cattle, and exploit the game and exploit kids who've got dreams to be undisputed champion. As boxing fans, we're bloodthirsty and we're saying, you need to take this fight or your career's done, it's over for you, you never get an opportunity again, you know, and all this shit here. I can't in good conscience condone that as good practice for the future of boxing, and I've just got to keep it real. I'll say no more for now. I love the sport, but get your kids into college, get them a trade. Education is a must. Become boxing promoters, managers, accountants, lawyers. Become that. Stay out of the ring. It's a fucking mugs game. You see, if people are putting forward a case to ban boxing because of these type of practices and plus the dangers that the athletes have to go through, Bob And Lou would be saying, well, boxing keeps these young men off the street and saves their lives. And they'll be giving boxing all these platitudes that boxing is good for society. But then look how they treat these athletes who come from these same streets that they say boxing is saving them from. Is it really safer being a boxer than a roadman? I don't know. What's up with Adam Smith and his sidekick, Ben Shalom? Why are they taking to the public every opportunity talking about Anthony Joshua like he has to sign to Sky? Look at this. Adam Smith confident of new Anthony Joshua Sky deal. Adam Smith hopeful on Anthony Joshua deal with Sky. Eddie knows Sky built AJ. Ben Shalom, Joshua will fight on Sky for the rest of his career. It's almost like they're telling him that you have to be there. There's no negotiation. This is your destiny. We own you. What's up with that? Is that sounding normal to some of you? The obsession they have to go public and tell them that AJ almost has to sign here. How dare you not sign here? What's up with that? Surely whatever AJ's future is, with Sky or without Sky, should be dealt with in a more formal setting. A boardroom, an office. I'd understand if they went to video and said, yes, we just had positive talks with AJ about him staying on Sky. I'd understand that, but it's almost like, make sure AJ sees this video and let him know that he has to stay on Sky. Creepy. If it does end with Sky, you had a great run from 2013 when he turned pro till 2022. You had a great run. What are they going to do if AJ decides to go elsewhere? They're going to start slandering him? It looks like they will. Someone tell them to stop. Who has authority enough to talk to them? Tell them to chill the F out. So Jarrell Miller, we found out recently that he's in Team Fury in their camp as a sparring partner, and he admits he had his ass kicked in a sparring session with Fury, but he said that's okay, before clarifying that it's all right though. I've been off for a little while. Big Baby is back in Britain. Matthew Macklin, Spencer Oliver, and a few more ex-pros and people in the game have voiced their disapproval at Jarrell Miller being able to come back. And you know what? I don't have much time for him either. But at the same time, you know, condemn Jarrell Miller, but let's not condemn Bob Arum, Frank Warren, and the rest of them, and some of their immoral practices, you know. Like, they'll say, yeah, well, people dying. According to Sugar Hill, Tyson Fury does not have a game plan for Dillian Whyte and will figure out a strategy on how to beat him just hours before they meet in the ring, reveals Sugar Hill. And he admits Body Snatcher has a chance of winning at Wembley. It's a difficult one to read, isn't it? Because it's almost contradicted, if you like, by Tyson recently saying his game plan for Dillian is he's going to push him back, knock him out. He spoke about weighing in at his heaviest weight ever. Dillian himself said he was going to come in around 18 stone and he's not going to let Fury push him back. I don't see a lot of dancing around from these two men. They're going to get in the ring center and who's going to be the first to concede ground? I think Sugar Hill was being pretty honest when he said that Fury could get beaten because he's going to take chances. He's not going to come in light, so anyone expecting a whole lot of movement, that Tyson Fury's gone. He left the building a long time ago. But there are blueprints for Fury, like AJ came forward on Dillian and he was winning the fight. Dillian hurt him and had success, but AJ was lighting him up. Joseph Parker, he didn't get aggressive until the late rounds and he had Dillian on the canvas. Derek Chisora was in the fight, in the second fight, coming forward aggressively until Dillian landed that peach of a left hook. Dillian likes to pressure you, but on his own terms. If you start working and trying to push him back when he's trying to take a breath, you can have success. Dillian has excellent offensive tools and I believe he's a better opponent than Wilder. I'm not saying he hits harder. Wilder's got that right hand, but Dillian puts his punches together pretty well. I think when Dillian is pushed back is when he's most vulnerable. They caught AJ with that catch and shoot when he was backed up. Fury has been able to box on the back foot and on the front foot. But the back foot, to me, is compromised by all the weight. And Dillian, he needs a straight right hand and a good body attack We know the left hook's there. His jab has got to be on point, and we could have a very interesting fight. Very interesting fight. The catch and shoot could be catastrophic for Tyson Fury with them big long arms. The long arms are an advantage for the most part in Fury's game. But the way Dillon's got that catch and shoot counter finely tuned, with them long arms, it's going to be hard for Tyson Fury to get them arms back to his chin to protect him. Like, you know, he was saying that as long as he punches through the target and Dillon catches the shot, it's going to hurt him. That's true as well. That could be true, but Dillon has to take some chances. That's the only way to win this. Tank Davis rejected a plea where he could have done some jail time, and on paper it looks pretty bad. He crashed his Lamborghini into a Toyota, injured 4 of the motorists and failed to render assistance. His trial starts in September. They're talking about it could be up to 8 years if he's found guilty on all charges. We're going to have to spend a grip on lawyers' fees for this one. It seems to be something nearly every month for these PBC fighters, isn't it? I didn't even remember that one. It's hard to keep up. You wonder if Tank or Rolly can make it into the ring by May without either getting caught up in the system or getting caught up in some bullshit. I know, I don't live across there, but I've been told by dudes who live that life that if you get offered, as a black man, if you get offered a plea to cop out, it might be a good idea to consider it. Because what comes after, you never know.